get the SP6 free. So let's talk about SP6. SP6 is one of our, I don't want to say least talked about patches, but it's one that doesn't get as much like craziness out there. But it has huge benefits. And so I want to definitely take some time to talk to you about SP6 and all the benefits that it has and what it can do for you and help you. And so let's talk about how it's marketed, okay, initially. It's marketed as a weight loss patch, believe that or not. It's marketed as a patch to help increase your metabolism and to curb your appetite. So if you're someone that says, what do I do to lose weight? Well,
centered at
we know these have 11% body fat reduction in 60 days. And this one curbs your appetite and boosts your metabolism. So that sounds like a pretty good combo there to help your body to reduce some of the excess fluff that's going on, right? But that is not what all this patch does. And really, I want you to think about, like, how would it curb my appetite? How would it boost my metabolism? That's really the question I want you to ask. And so when you look at those two things, you look at your endocrine system. And many of you may have heard that word, your endocrine system, or you've heard of endocrinologists. What is my endocrine system? Where is that? How does that work in my body? Where is it located? Well, it's located in a lot of different places. So I want you to think about your pituitary gland. You may not know where that is. I think you probably do in your head, like in your brain, right? I want you to think of your hypothalamus. It's a little almond-shaped gland inside of your brain as well, too. I want you to think of your thyroid. Think of your thyroid. Think of your frontal lobe, your main thought processes, right? Your autonomic nervous system. I want you to think of your adrenal glands. I want you to think of your intestines, your liver, your kidneys, your pancreas. All of that makes up your endocrine system, okay? And your endocrine system is a very complex network of, like I said, glands and organs. And so we can see that the endocrine system uses hormones to control and coordinate your body's metabolism, which is where you see it marketed as a patch that's going to increase your metabolism. It's going to control and coordinate your energy level, your reproduction, your growth, and your development, and its response to injury, stress.
I understand the reduction. I don't understand the dilation, the length.
But I want to really talk about two key components of that. I want two glands before I talk about organs. I want to talk to you about your thyroid. In functional med, we look at the root cause of problems, diseases, issues, right? So most people, unfortunately, have some type of heart condition, issue, symptom, problem, right? We know number one killer in the world is heart disease. We know that. And we also know, did you know that statins are black label medications? You might want to Google that and see that list. But when we look at the heart in functional med, Dr. Punchy's laughing. When you look at functional med, we look at what is really causing, what's the root cause of these heart problems? Like what's happening here? Now, of course, we can look at stress. We know that stress plays a huge part in your heart. Emotional stress, especially when you look at women. A lot of times men have heart attacks and they survive those things, right? But if a woman has a heart attack, she's usually gone. And that happens a lot from that emotional trauma and stress stored in the heart. So we look at stress physically, mentally, and emotionally as being a root cause of heart issues. And of course, we can look at that, address that, looking at EON,
you just take
helps
this
bring your
point
body
right here
calm,
and times it by 2/3.
We can see that
so
benefit. You saw what 3949 did with your
with all these,
pulse rate,
takes
bringing
this
that down.
and
That's
that.
important,
You
right?
take
We saw what it
2/3
did
of
to the
each
blood
one
pressure.
and plot them out.
But did you know that your thyroid being out of balance is a direct link to heart
So
problems
now you have to do
and
more
issues
practice,
and
I
conditions
guess.
and symptoms? And of course, I'm not making any claims of any types of diseases. But we can see in functional men that having your thyroid out of balance is going to detrimentally impact your heart.
Divided by 2 and plot it.
And that's huge because that doesn't typically get shared. when you go to
Both
the
of the
doctor because you
coordinates
have,
by 2.
irregular heartbeats, PVCs or arrhythmias or your AFib or, things just don't feel right or you have tightness or whatever, your blood pressure's through the roof. They don't typically tell you, hey, it's your thyroid we need to really take a look at here. Let's do a full panel and workup and look at everything. They just say, here's your medication. Right? Here's your prescription. And I'm generalizing, of course, you guys. But a lot of times that's what happens. And they write you a medication to lower your blood pressure. But did it actually do anything to repair the heart? Is it actually getting in there? Maybe, maybe not. Not going to make any claims, of course. But that's what I would ask those questions. Like, what really is going on with my heart that all of this is happening, right? What's the underlying cause? And that's where we want to get to. So SP6, again, keeping your thyroid in check. You look at your entire immune system, twice as big, right? With your thyroid, you look at honestly everything. It's controlling so much in your body, and so keeping this little butterfly gland here healthy is really important. And we kind of piggyback that off of our adrenal glands because, again, we talk about stress. People are stressed. They're fight or flight mode. Back in our ancestors' days, it was because they were running from saber-toothed tigers. Today, people open their bank account on their app and they freak out and they're in fight or flight mode, right? The stress is just through the roof with what's going on in our world and life and everything. It's just, it can be so much. And so keeping your adrenal glands in balance are another big part of SP6. We can see in clinical studies very significant changes using this patch in as little as even 7 days. I want you to go to startx39now.com. I want you to click on SP6 on the clinical studies, and I want you to look at that and see what happens in our glands, in our organs. In just 7 days, we can see almost a 90% improvement in the physiological functionality of your endocrine system. So what's going to happen? We know when we look at our hormones, for example, and balancing them, we know we want to look at a 90-day period at least. Okay? So if you're looking at the performance bundle, you would want to look at least a 90-day period if you're wanting to balance